You've just received a parking ticket on private land. What's the next step? Will the fine increase? Will you go to court? Could a bailiff come knock on your door? Or will they just go away if you ignore it? A private parking ticket is a fine issued to you for either not paying to park or overstaying the amount of time you paid for in a privately owned car park. The official name for these fines is parking charge notices, not to be confused with penalty charge notices, which are issued by local authorities. Penalty charge notices from local authorities work very differently from parking charge notices. A council PCN is actually a fine, while a private parking ticket is more similar to an invoice you have to pay. As of 2022, companies issuing parking tickets on private land in England and Wales outside of London cannot fine motorists more than £50 for a parking contravention on their land. Companies inside of London can charge a little bit more. Also, a new grace period has been introduced, which means car park operators must give you 10 minutes to get to your car and exit the car park before issuing a fine. So, do you have to pay private land parking fines? In reality, you aren't legally obliged to pay a private land parking fine, unless told to do so by a court. However, you may choose to pay promptly in order to avoid further stress and any potential legal action. Plus, many companies offer a reduction in your fine for an early payment. If you don't pay a private parking ticket, it's highly likely that the company will send payment reminders, add late charges, or threaten legal action. But in reality, there's nothing private companies can do to collect money unless they take you to court. But if they do take court action, the fine may become greater due to the court costs, and a judge could make you legally responsible to pay. You may also be issued with a county court judgment or a court decree in Scotland. I've researched these and they're both really serious. They impact your credit report, possibly making credit and mortgages harder to obtain in the future. If you then ignore the CCJ or court decree, you'll soon have a bailiff come knock at your door. There is some good news. If you think the ticket was unfair, then you can appeal against private land parking tickets, so long as it's from a legitimate company registered with the Accredited Trade Association. Companies not registered cannot ask for your address from the DVLA, which means you'll never hear from them again, unless you write to them, possibly trying to make the payment. If in doubt, you can check if a company is an ATA member by calling the British Parking Association. Beware though, the call is not free. Your ticket or letter will likely be accusing you of some heinous crime, like parking 2 inches over a white line or staying 2 minutes too long. However, as mentioned, there is a 10-minute grace period for car parks, which might work in your favour. If you believe the ticket was wrongly issued, say you were within that grace period, then your first port of call should be to speak to the store or facility manager, who might be able to just have the ticket cancelled for you. If you genuinely think you have good grounds for an appeal and that the ticket is unfair, say a genuine emergency or a vehicle breakdown prevented you from leaving the car park on time, then that might give you some good grounds for an appeal. Additionally, parking companies are obligated to make their parking rules clear. If you feel that their signposting was unfairly poor, then strengthening your appeal by going back to the scene of the crime and snapping a few supporting photos is certainly not a waste of time. Be sure to follow the appeals procedure on your ticket or letter as soon as possible. The quicker you get an appeal filed, the sooner the problem can be resolved. But you need a fair time to be able to prepare any appeal. If they didn't get their letter to you within 14 days, then it's not unreasonable to ask for some extra time. Writing an appeal letter can be daunting. It's hard to be totally sure what to say. A popular option is to consult a solicitor, who could help to make your appeal airtight. There's many online solicitors that work out cheaper and easier than meeting in person. JustAnswer, for example, only costs £5 for a trial, and I know a guy who saved £271 on his ticket doing this. I've linked that offer in the description, and if you use that, you'll also be supporting Money Nerd, so thank you.